Now we introduce Stacy Washington, host of Stacy on the Right Show, and you can read her pieces on stacyontheright.com. And Stacy, welcome aboard. So what'd you think of what Bill Kristol had to say? He's still gung-ho for that third-party candidate, thinks that Donald Trump might be the Ross Perot in that three-person race mix this time around.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me on. Look, I was like having trouble just sitting through what he was saying. It's interesting that he's not willing to live with the fruit of all of that we've seen over the past 20 years or so with the Republicans, constantly putting up candidates that the American people and the base, I'm talking about the door knockers, the people who run for committeemen in their precincts. These are the hardworking Americans who have comprised the Republican Party for the past 100 years or however long we've been in existence. And these people deserve to have a voice. And so they finally decided they've had it up to here with the traditionalist candidates who are mealy-mouthed and can't stand up to the Democrats, and they select Donald Trump. And now the very same people who extracted a promise, a pledge from Donald Trump and everybody else that they would go with the nominee, now they're all backtracking. They've got memory loss, and they can't remember that they said they would support the nominee.
Right.
They need to back off and do what they made everyone promise to do, which is support the nominee.
All right, let's get to some phone calls. Stacy, see what the folks out there are thinking at 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629. And first up, we go to John from Philadelphia. Hey, John.
How you doing?
Good, sir.
Stephen, thanks for having me on, and I enjoy the show very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Listen, I'd like to know how people can believe everything that this Clinton says. For crying out loud, she lies like a rug. She laughs like a witch. She claps like a seal, and she flip-flops like a fish. And yet people believe everything she says.
I don't know, Stacy. Stacy, I don't think most people believe hardly anything Hillary Clinton says.
Nope, the polls show that she has, out of all of the candidates, she's the one they distrust the most. They trust her the least, and they find her untrustworthy. She has epic untrustworthy numbers when it comes to the polls. It's not really that people trust her, it's that she's the devil they know. And for the Democrats, honestly, they didn't really run a primary at all because everyone knew that Sanders would never be the nominee, and everyone knows that Hillary should be indicted, and she's just, running around by the skin of her teeth at the largesse of the Obama administration.
So, John, I don't think people really believe her.
I hope not, because she should be indicted. I mean, there's already people in jail for putting their emails on their internet.
Right.
One guy put 2 emails on his internet. He got 2 years.
Yeah.
There was another guy, Kioski or whatever his name was, something like that.
Well, we'll see.
CIA.
We will see what happens, and the FBI will finish its investigation sooner or later. John, thank you very much. Let's go to Cincinnati and say hello to Tim. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Hello,
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What they're talking about with Trump and all that around it with the women and all, I see him, picture him with the Russian leader and the Chinese leader and being diplomatic with them. And these small problems in our country, we need to be strong in the world with the other leaders. And I think he can stand up and do that. I can't see Hillary. I can't see Cruz. And if a latecomer comes, why wasn't he here at the beginning? Trump's been out there, and everybody, if he says something, at least he's bringing it up and saying it, and we need that said. I think it's changed a lot of people's view on things that need to change.
I hope you're right, Tim. I hope you're right, and thank you for calling. More with Stacy and you. More calls coming up. Stacy Washington's back, host of Stacy on the Right Show, and of course, reader at stacyontheright.com. Stacy, I really, it takes a lot for me to stomach watching her, but she just is pathetic.
Well, Steve, and I usually don't go here, but with Debbie, she's just made herself so easy to vilify. Sometimes when she's talking, I wonder if it's her or if it's her hair that's making her say those things.
Ooh, wait a minute. Now, we should delve into your treatment of women. You know that?
I know. Well, I've already admitted that I'm anti-woman. I'm anti man, also anti-puppy. I mean, I'm anti whatever you got, I'm anti. That's just who I am. It's just what I'm working with.
It is really said the I word. Yeah, who told you? The FBI? Well, people have told me repeatedly. Who told you? Well, that's what I understand. So the story changed right there. Just
right on the camera.
Yeah,
Wasn't that fascinating to watch? Because her face never flinches.
No.
That's the interesting part.
No, never moved. Now, I'd like to see Hillary represent her and have her take a lie detector test like that child rapist who Hillary had take a lie detector test, and then they could all laugh about that. Let's get to the phones at the 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629. And first we go to Sheila from Hobart, Oklahoma. Hello, Sheila.
Hello. I just started watching your show last night, and I caught the Dick Morris. I loved it, and I've ordered the book today.
Great. Power grab, yes.
Pass it around. Yeah, but I wish people would go to the Internet and just put in Bill and Hillary Clinton scandals and read all the things they've done all these years, and then put in there and say positive about Hillary. Give me something positive. There's nothing at all.
Well, Sheila, you make a good point. You make a good point, and let me ask you and Stacy, and start with Stacy, then we'll come back to you, Sheila. That's the thing. Is that there are so many women, young women, young males too, but young women who don't have a clue. They don't know Bill Clinton was impeached, that he lost his law license, that he lied under oath. They don't know maybe they heard the name Monica Lewinsky, but otherwise they don't know anything.
Well, Steve, I think one of the interesting pivots that we've seen just over the past 7 days is when Donald Trump became the presumptive nominee, CNN and all of the friendlies have now suddenly got their daggers out for him, and they have 20 investigators from the Washington Post, and it's just this whole thing. And you don't see the same treatment of Hillary. You would think that while they're delving into Donald Trump's treatment of his employees and who was fat, who ate too much candy, that they would be asking, so how many exactly of those private investigators did you hire, Hillary, to attack the women who had relations with your husband or accused him of rape? And what about the 12-year-old girl who now, this woman has had a horrible life.
Yep, she says Hillary ruined her life. Yep, Hillary ruined her life because Hillary, according to the girl, made up at the trial that this girl had a habit of coming on to older men at 12 years old, kind of blaming the victim. And this girl says she ruined her life. Anyway, Sheila, do you find that a lot of younger women aren't aware of all this?
I do, and I talk to a lot of people, but we don't need an investigator on Hillary. Go to the Internet. It's all documented, everything they've done.
Sheila, I really appreciate you calling. I'm glad you found us. Please spread the word, and make sure you tune into the Steve Malzberg Show every night, 7 p.m. Eastern. We look forward to hearing from you again. Let's go to Diane from from Petersburg, Michigan. Hello, Diane.
Hello, Steve. You and Dennis and Ed and JD. You're beyond excellent.
We rock, don't we? We rock, baby.
No kidding, because we've had it with the dinosaur media. All they put out is the pablum.
And Stacy rocks. Stacy Washington rocks too, right?
Yeah, and I started voting in 1975. I've lived it. I've seen it. Hillary Clinton should be in prison, and it's about time that we have somebody running for president that can take on the entire bought establishment in the Beltway. They work for Soros and the Rockefellers and not the American people. That's evident. And I am sick of them trashing our Constitution, and Trump is going to probably trash all those executive orders and give us our freedoms back.
All right, well, we shall see, Diane, that's for sure. And I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Stacy, final thoughts.
I love her passion, and I think a lot of Americans share it. I was just having a conversation today to the same effect, Steve. It's the different things we're looking for.
It is, and we shall see. Thank you, Stacy Washington. Now, Rick Unger, who got the people's opinions earlier today of Donald Trump and his dealings with women. Rick?
Thanks, Steve. We're out here in front of Trump Tower to ask the folks passing by a question or two about how they feel about Mr. Trump and his relationship with women.
Disturbing. I don't want somebody like that representing our country.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Okay,
it's all about getting the job done and turning this country around.
Did you happen to see the New York Times piece this morning?
I read about it. I didn't read it, but I've heard about it, yes.
It's a bit inappropriate.
On whose part?
His.
You think he's got a bad record there?
Yes, sir.
I don't believe any of it.
Interesting. You don't believe it's true to even begin with?
No. He's a wonderful man.
There are a lot of women voters out there, as we know, and it just so many things about him are embarrassing for this country, and that's just one of them.
I think they're going to deliberately try to break him down in any way they can. And unfortunately, Trump's going to have to turn around and do the same thing to Hillary.
Someone like that, you don't know what you're probably going to get. He could end up to be horrible. He could end up to be the best president for a long time.
All right, Rick Unger on the streets of New York, right outside Trump Tower. Very interesting. All right, folks, this is only going to go on and on and on. And, your input is so very important to us here at Newsmax. And that's why we take your phone calls and solicit your emails and your Facebook posts and your Twitter's responses. And we bring them all to you. And you have a chance to be heard right here and tell your friends that they could be heard as well. Up next, it's the one and only J.D. Hayworth with Newsmax Prime. See you tomorrow, everybody.